Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be sharing with you my non-fiction November TBR. Non-fiction November is one of my absolute favourite readathons and it is hosted by the wonderful Book Olive, who I will link down below, and her video will have all of the information that you need for this readathon. But essentially, it's pretty self-explanatory. It is a month-long readathon in the month of November, focused on reading more non-fiction than you normally would. If you don't normally read any non-fiction and you pick up one non-fiction book in November, you are participating. On the other side, you could read entirely non-fiction in non-fiction November. I'm somewhere in the middle. I tend to read like 1 or 2 non-fiction books a month, so in non-fiction November I like to up it to 4. One for each of the prompts for this readathon. I think the way that Olive does the prompts for non-fiction November is really cool. She kind of just gives you a word or a couple of words and it's up to you how you end up interpreting that word. And this year she's done something really interesting where she's done like pairs of prompts that have a letter difference in them. It'll make more sense when I get into it. So the first of these prompts is either past time, as in like a time in the past, or pastime, as in a hobby. The book I've gone for this is Each Sweat Play by Anna Kessel. This is a book all about women and their relationships with fitness and sport. I was so sporty as a kid. I was one of those kids who was doing like a different sport every single evening. A lot of girls, I fell out of this when I became a teenager. Either it was something that I didn't feel included in. I wasn't seeing women doing the sports that I wanted to do. Like, I wasn't seeing people making careers or even like being semi-professional at the sports I enjoyed. And there were just fewer opportunities for it as well. Like, there were fewer girls' football clubs. I love watching football. Like, watching football makes me feel so great. Like, even when it's not going my way, it's still like it's such a good part of my day. And now I'm getting back into getting fit and running and going to the gym, and it's literally like so fun. I love it so much. So I thought it would be really interesting to read a non-fiction book that is all about women's relationships with sport and fitness in non-fiction November. The next prompt is self or shelf, and I have gone for the latter, and I have selected More Weird Things That Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell. I'm sure most of you know who Jen Campbell is. I read the first book in this duo a couple of months ago. In my last job, I wasn't working in like a bookshop per se, but we sold books, and I would sometimes get asked for recommendations or get asked questions about the books, and I found a lot of things in the first book very like relatable, and now I'm a proper bookseller. So I think I'm gonna find this one even more relatable and funny. I didn't really say what it was, but it's basically what it says on the tin. It's just a collection of weird things that the author has heard during her years as being a bookseller that were weird and bizarre and quite funny at times. The next prompt is wander or wonder, and for this, again, I'm going for the latter. I'm going for wonder, and I am going to pick up the Book of Forgotten Authors by Christopher Fowler. This is probably one of the most gorgeous books I own. I absolutely love it. It was gifted to me last Christmas, I think. It was either Christmas or my birthday, by my lovely friends Benny and Joe, so thank you very much, guys. I'm sorry I've not read it yet, but I'm gonna. It's essentially, again, it's what it says in the tin. These are brief little biographies about authors who have faded into obscurity and aren't as well known as they possibly should be. I think this is one that I will probably like spread quite thinly across the entire month, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think I'm going to discover a lot more great authors in this book. And the final prompt is macro or micro, so like big and small. This was the prompt that stumped me for the longest. But like the only thing I could think of was like macronutrients and micronutrients like you've got in food. Now I hope I get this right. So your micronutrients are like your vitamins. So like your vitamins A, B, C, D, whatever letters there are, E and K. And then your macronutrients are like iron and calcium, that kind of thing. I think that's right. I got a really good grade in home economics when I was at school, okay? Home economics was actually one of the most useful subjects that I did in school for like having real world relevance, and I wish I remembered more of it. Anyways, the book I have chosen is Eat Up by Ruby Tando. It's about food. Food has macro and micronutrients. Do you see my thought process here? You may know Ruby Tando as a contestant on the Great British Bake Off a few years ago. She's one of my favourite Bake Off contestants of all time. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I'm a little bit obsessed with her. And I have heard nothing but good things about this book. I have a slightly complicated relationship with food. It doesn't rear its head all of the time, but sometimes it is something that I quite struggle with, and from what I've heard about this book, I think there will be a lot of things in here that I will find useful and valuable. I think that what Ruby's basically going for in this book is like, it's okay to find joy in food that isn't necessarily good for you. Like, it's about finding the happiness in food. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous designed book as well, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I'm like trying not to read it like right now. I've got really strong urges to read it now. That's my TBR plus an ebook as well. I might end up picking up a couple more non-fiction books in the month, but these are the ones that I'm going to focus on and make sure I do read. Let me know down in the comments what your favourite non-fiction book is, and we can have a little chat about it. Maybe it's one that I've read too, maybe it's one that's been on my radar for quite a long time. Let's have a little chat down below. If you are participating in Non-Fiction November, I hope you have a fantastic reading month, and if you're not, I still hope you're having a fantastic reading month. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you in my next video.